So with this painting here, I was really inspired by some of the fall colors that I was seeing outside. Um, the vibrant oranges and the greens and the browns, and I picked up some new paint from the store that kind of reflected this, and so I wanted to add it into this painting specifically. But I wanted to give it some richness, so that's why I'm adding the black there, and just kind of having it as almost like a background kind of effect. If you look down at the bottom closer to where I am, there's a bit of like a brown dustiness on the painting, and that's actually sand. You're going to see that throughout these paintings here. The sand is actually from Quebec, where I was born, and it gives it texture, it gives it some me in the painting itself, and I think that's really cool. Um, this rust color I'm putting in there is really beautiful as well, and down on the bottom left hand side of the painting itself. And with this painting, I'm not quite finished it yet. I'm still working on it at the moment, but you can see the process of how what inspires me. I don't really think about it, but I think with those peaks and with the undergrown under kind of gesso markings that I was making, and some of the markings that I had made when I started this painting and I had to let it dry, was that, maybe some spikes of blades of grass sticking up out of the ground, like just that fall um, inspired lush gardens that we find in the BC West Coast. Is definitely one of my favorite things to get inspired by, and the colors that are brought by that. So yeah, this is the start of this painting, the process of it, and I'm so glad that you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. I love sharing this kind of stuff with you guys. Again, like here I'm wiping off some of the paint because I really want that texture to come through in the paint. So with this painting, I was truly inspired by our across Canada road trip that my family took over the summer holidays. And it was, for me, a little bit stressful, not gonna lie, but it was so fascinating to see all of Canada. And the inspiration that I took from that trip is going to bleed out in my paintings for sure. And I kind of want to do a bit of a Canadian collection in some sort of way. But this one especially was inspired by our trip to Toronto. And of course, if you recognize the Space Needle and the cityscape that's surrounding it. But what was really neat to me was this gray, moody sky, but it had this vibrance to it, and it was pouring out of me to make this sort of painting to represent our experience there. We weren't allowed to see anything because it was during COVID, and Toronto, especially the Ontario province, it was very locked down compared to other provinces at the time. And so we didn't really get to experience a lot there, but we did get to view and see the city itself. And so we wanted to be at the top of this needle, but that just wasn't going to happen. But we did an incredible trip, and it really inspired this painting especially. I love the underlay of the markings that I did in this one. It just really came, my feelings for that time that I was there, it's really expressed in this. The colors that I chose, and again, the sand from Quebec is made its way into this painting. And so if you notice on the structure of the building, it has a very heavy texture with the golds there. They are acrylic, and so I can't put oil paint over top of the acrylic. I need to get oil metallics, but until then I have these acrylic ones that I'm going to be using, so this is technically a mixed painting, but really all it is that any of the golds, the silver or the pearl that you see in it, that would be the acrylic. and then the rest of the painting is oil, basically. And then here I'm just adding a little bit of color, just to bring in some of the colors that I'm putting in the sky and some of the colors that I used as markings underneath that layer of paint. It's almost like I put it on as it's translucent so you can still see those markings. I think it's pretty. Okay, with this painting, you can't see the entire thing, but you can kind of get the idea. You see the drip marks of the gold, and normally that would have been fine. The drips underneath were made of gesso, and I also incorporated that sand again for Quebec so that you guys have a bit of me in this painting. And I've kind of had it dripping off as a side, on the side. It's quite unique. It's quite different from my other paintings. And I started the black that you see me putting on here with a color tone. So it's not completely black. And I don't normally do that. I like black as being black, like solid black. I love that. But what I noticed is that it's very translucent-y. When I had to mix the color, I had to use some oils because this is oil based, and I just didn't like the consistency of it. And so I am going to be going over this again to bring out more of the gold and then to make that black just super contrast to the gold. The drip marks making them more realistic. Yeah, that is something I'm definitely going to be doing going forward. Yeah, so I think that that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys and your support as I learn and become this artist. I'm considered an emerging artist, and I appreciate you guys so much and your encouragement in all of this. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.